Sardar Patel told Nehru, saying, I'm seeing all this analysis about China, how we are both Asian countries, we are going to be great friends. I actually think that today, for the first time in India's history, we are facing a two-front threat. The reply from Nehru was, no, you are very suspicious. 12 years later, what he said was inconceivable happened. The person to whom he is addressing it is actually clouded by a kind of leftist ideology. In 1950, in 1947, we became independent. 1949, there was a revolution in China. Communist Party came to power, and the Chinese PLA moved into Tibet. Okay. In 1950, one of the last things which Sardar Patel did was he wrote a letter to Nehru. Sardar Patel told Nehru, saying, I'm seeing all this analysis about China, how we are both Asian countries, we are going to be great friends. I am very worried. I actually think that today, for the first time in India's history, we are facing a two-front threat. And that we keep saying things to them that we are friends. I'm not sure they think in the same way. So I am cautioning you. This is Sardar Patel actually about less than 2 months before he passed away. The reply from Nehru was, no, you are very suspicious. He doesn't say you don't understand foreign policy, but that's... And then he says, it is inconceivable. It is inconceivable that the Chinese would ever cross the Himalayas and attack us. 12 years later, what he said was inconceivable happened. Now, why do I say this to you? I'm not fault-finding. I am trying to make us all understand. When we look at the world, here was Sardar Patel, a very, very practical man, very grounded, very much with a feel for what life is about. I'm in Hyderabad. There can be no better, if any place should know what Sardar Patel did, this place should know. Okay. Now, the same Sardar Patel, with his sense of wisdom, practicality, he's actually he's anticipating what is coming in the future. But the person to whom he's addressing it is actually clouded by a kind of leftist ideology, which he says, today we and China, we to have a common interest in going up against the West, and therefore he's refusing to see what is actually a very practical, I would say basics of diplomacy. In diplomacy, every country has to be careful about its neighbors. And when you have two neighbors with whom you have potential or actual problems, those two neighbors will also get together. That is also very practical. You don't need a PhD in diplomacy to understand this. But yet, that is what happened. Now, I fast forward you from 1950 to 1962. Now the Chinese have attacked. What is inconceivable has happened. They have come down in Arunachal Pradesh. This is when Nehru has said goodbye to Assam and Northeast. And then he writes a letter to President John Kennedy of America. That letter is a public letter. Any of you can Google it, you can find it in the record. In that letter, he asked for assistance. It was the right thing to do. Then he says there, but I am hesitant how much to ask you, because I don't know how it will look in front of other people. Country is under attack. Okay, Chinese have come down Arunachal Pradesh. You are actually saying bye-bye Assam. And then you are saying, but I don't know how I will look in front of other people. Just think today. Because when I said if you put your country's interest first, that is the one and only criteria by which crucial judgment should be made. would you have said, I am under attack, but I don't know how I will look to other people, so only give me half of, what I really need? Does this, what does it say? Now, some years before this how do I look in front of other people actually came in another context. There was a big debate at that time about UN Security Council. Okay? Even today, it's still a live issue. All of you know that. At that time, some countries offered India a seat, because the seat at that time, China's seat, was occupied by Taiwan. So many countries felt they didn't want People's Republic of China to occupy that. So they offered the seat to India. Now, our response at that time was, yes, we have such an offer, but first China should get its seat. After that, we will see what we have to do. Now, in case you think I'm not saying the truth, the source of this is Jawaharlal Nehru. He has written a letter to the chief ministers of all states. It's in his letters to the chief minister. So today, just imagine, we are talking of India first policy. He's saying China first in the UN. India follows after that. So when we say an era of diffidence, an era of diffidence is not just an era of diffidence. It is an era actually where we don't have clarity about our own national interests. That we mix a certain ideological outlook, belief in what should be our contribution to the world, which is, I will also, we also do many good things for the world. But that cannot be at the cost of our national security. It cannot be at the cost of our national interest. For us, that is why India first, Bharat first, and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam are two sides of the same coin. But we should never allow Bharat first to be compromised.